Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is infrequently seen even in my line of work. You're looking at the Patek Philippe Nautilus Moonphase 5712GR-001, two-tone, but not in steel and gold, in white gold and rose gold. It's double gold. And it's massive at 136.78 grams, despite being a strap watch with a buckle. Taking a quick look at it, it's no bigger than a 5712 normally is, which is to say quite compact. 40 millimeters in diameter, 8.8 millimeters thick, and then from end link to end link, total distance across the wrist is 50.5 millimeters. Now, this model originally came out as a limited edition for East Asia in approximately 2010. The example in my hand was sold in 2011, and it was cataloged through about 2015. It gradually became a low production, globally available cataloged model, though East Asia was the original issue, and in no region of the world is it a common version of an already uncommon watch. These are hard to find. You can see on my wrist of 16 centimeters, it wears nicely, though this strap is brand new and it's not broken in, so it's very stiff and I'm pulling it very tightly. I could see this watch wearing well on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, though that might be hard to envision as the strap is still quite stiff. As it breaks in, you'll find that the watch wears smaller, and it is very flat flush and will easily fit underneath the cuff. Taking a look here, you can see this is one of two different fundamental types of strap available with the watch. This is leather. There's also one that looks just like it in rubber, and with a crown that is a screw down and a 60-meter water resistance rating. Put this on the factory rubber strap, you'll be able to surface swim it. You can see the strap is high grade, large, rectangular, symmetrical scale alligator leather. I've said it many times, an expensive and rare cut of the beast. Patek takes pride in using this cut. Thick cut, you can see broad folded edges with a monotone stitch, calfskin on the bottom. No crimping, no gouging, brand new Patek Philippe factory strap. We have a full clasp here, and the clasp, like the watch, is made of white and rose gold. A lovely look. You can see it is a double fold, which is a little bit more forgiving on a small wrist, less likely to pinch, and it is a Nautilus-specific buckle. It has twin trigger release. You have to press both of those for it to pop open. The case is a three-piece. We've got the wings and the bezel. We've got the mid-case, and then you've got the case back, and you can see tripartite and rose, white, and rose in sequence. Patek Philippe Calatrava cross, the logo of the manufacturer on the crown. We have pusher adjusters for the complications on the dial, which include date and coaxial moonphase. We also have a power reserve indicator for the automatic winding 48-hour power reserve. We have a silver gray gradient dial, metallic sunburst with striations, as the Nautilus is featured since Gerald Genta designed the first one, the 3700 in 1976. We also have a gradient from light at the center to darker at the edge. We have rose gold hands and indices, so they'll never tarnish or oxidize with time, and they glow quite well. Taking a look at the dial with the complications, you got a little bit of a scatter, almost like a vintage pocket watch complication, where there's a bit of calculated asymmetry in the design. Gerald Genta took a step forward with the Nautilus beyond his 1972 Royal Oak, whereas the Royal Oak has that rounded octagonal bezel, but then everything inboard of that is circular. Here, outer bezel, inner bezel, dial, and crystal all have the same rounded, faceted form. You could see that we've got a little bit of azurage or a concentric patterning inside the power reserves, 4 dots, or I should say inside the sub-registers, 4 dots for the power reserve right there. Flip it all over, we got a caliber 240 micro rotor, and a couple of things you'll note. At the time this example was retailed in 2011, there were a few features that had yet to be changed, one of which is the use of a metal hairspring that would later become a silicone part, and then the 5-position adjustment, which would later become 6. So we're just sort of charting the changes. The nice thing about the 240, which is a micro rotor movement first introduced in 1977, it's what you see on the upscale Patek complications rather than a center rotor. It gives you a case that's as thin as a manual wind, with the big open, beautiful caseback vista unobstructed by a center rotor or a winding bridge. But it also gives you the convenience of automatic winding. You can see here we have a free-sprung Gyromax style balance beaten away at 3 Hertz, the single barrel automatically wound by a 22-karat gold rotor on ceramic ball bearings for higher efficiency, 48-hour power reserve, 29 pivot jewels and beautifully executed bridges and plates with polished screws, anglage on the edge of the bridges. We also see anglage or beveling inside the jewel sinks, polished screw heads with chamfered slots in circumference, and notice several different sizes of engine-turned perlage on the base plate. It is a great looking and classic movement and a classic Patek Philippe model, but in a form you will rarely see. So take this opportunity to make it yours. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.